Hello friends, welcome you all. Today we are discuss on the second part of the chemical control in IPM. In last lecture we have been seen about the chemical control in IPM, that is the part 1. In that lecture we have been seen the different group of pesticides or insecticides available in market and it is used in agriculture. In today's lecture, we will see about the some of the important things regarding the different chemicals which is used in agriculture. In that, the first is when you spray with the help of the many chemicals to control the insect pest population in our agro ecosystem. That chemicals having a which having that chemical contain which properties. It means that how we decide the insecticide or the pesticide, it is very effective in nature, and how it uh, how it look like, or which are the different qualities present in that particular insecticides. These are the some of the ideal qualities of the insecticides. The insecticides should have these properties. In that, the insecticide, it should kill the target's insect effectively and quickly. It means that it is not a toxic to the natural enemies, not toxic to the honeybees or soil microorganism, or non toxic to the mammals and fishes. It means that it is very effective against the insect pest population, not the other beneficial insects. Then it is less hazardous to the or less toxic during the handling process. Then quickly degradable in environment and should be less persistent, should not cause resurgence of the target insect pest, then should not cause outbreak of secondary pest on minor pest, should not should have a longer storage life or shelf life, and it should be cost effective. These are the some of the ideal qualities of the insecticides. Then for chemical treatment in IPM, which are the points which should be considered, or for the or we can say that these are the important consideration for chemical treatments of that particular insecticides. The insecticides, choosing at the right pesticides, then purchasing the insecticides, storing and using the insecticides, compatibility with additives, proper equipment selection and applications, measuring and diluting the pesticide concentrates, safety and regulations, phytotoxicity and resistant management are the important considerations for the chemical treatments when you use in agriculture. Let us start one by one. In that, choosing the right pesticides, it means that the insecticides or the pesticide, it should be very specific. If the insect having a chafing and biting type of mouth parts, we can use the stomach poison insecticides. Then if the insecticides are if the insects having a piercing and sucking type of mouth parts, it means that if the insect having a sucking paste, if we can use the different systemic insecticides. It means that the insecticide, it should be right. Okay. Then the insecticide should a broad spectrum insecticides, useful when more than one pest is present in our agro ecosystem. Then uh, this insecticide interpreting the acute LD50 values toxicity, that is insecticide having a acute toxic insecticide. It means that the single dose is required to kill the insects. Second is purchasing insecticide. At the time of purchasing insecticide, we should know about all the or we should read about all the related things about that insecticide which is available in market, and we will be used against that particular insect in a product to address current pest problems to avoid the hazardous storage conditions. Recently stock on fresh products is we can use know the generic names of that insecticides in brand name products. Then determine the application equipments needed for the applied products, as well as the required equipments and the adjuvants and the products compatibility with the other pesticides. These are the some of the things regarding the purchasing insecticide. Then shelf life of the insecticide. The insecticide shelf life having a more shelf life at a moderate temperature. Then alkaline water is required at the time of chemical treatment. It means that the pH of water should be neutral because of its affect the life of the active ingredient present in that solutions. The temperature effect on the organophosphate insecticide work better at higher temperature, and the synthetic pyrethrum derivatives work at the lower temperature. Then compatibility with additives or adjuvants. These are the some of the adjuvants or additive we can use with pesticides, that is the spreaders, stickers, foaming agents, thickeners and buffers, having a some of the special roles in that particular pesticides. We can use these different additives. Then selection of equipments. Equipments varies according to the application site's choice of pesticides and willingness to work with more complicated application devices. Then safety and regulations. At the time of application of the insecticides or pesticide in agriculture, we should have a safety dress or some of the safety things during at the time of application of insecticide, that is the respirator, safety glasses, protective clothing, rubber gloves and rubber shoes. Having we can wear these all at the time of application of the pesticides. Then phytotoxicity of the pesticide plants. What is phytotoxicity? Phytotoxic means harmful or lethal to the plants. Phytotoxicity is the degree to which the chemical or other compound is toxic to the plant. It means that if you use the chemicals in faulty manner, it will be create the phytotoxic effect on the plants, and due to this application of the faulty manner of the application of these pesticides, uh, which cause a different damage to that plants. In that, burn, necrosis, chlorosis, leaf distortion and stunting are the different problems or damage which is caused by due to the application of the pesticides. Then to avoid this phytotoxicity, we should know about the compatibility of the insecticides. This compatibility is given by the Cox scientist in 1941, and in pest control treatments, two or more pesticides, fungicides, or the fertilizers are sprayed or applied in the same operation to minimize the cost of labors. But before mixing two different chemicals, we should know about the physical and chemical properties of that particular insecticides. Incompatible pesticides should not mix, only compatible pesticides can be mixed, and with the help of this we can use a insecticide mixtures for that purpose. There are three types of the incompatibility. If the mixture it become incompatible in nature, it causes three incompatibility: chemical incompatibility, biological incompatibility and physical incompatibility. To avoid this incompatibility, we can use the insecticide mixture, and this insecticide mixture it is given by the scientist Gray, and having the five classes, that is the designated by the A1, A, B, C and D categories. Recently, nowadays, the insecticide mixture are mostly used, and it is recommended to against the different insect pest populations. Because the insecticide mixtures are visually prepared which have different mode of actions, that is the organophosphate and carbamates with a synthetic pyrethroids, so that the development of resistance to this combination is extremely rare, but they are not prepared by combining the organophosphate and carbamates which have same mode of action. It means that insecticide mixture means are those mixture which includes or which contain the two insecticides that have a different mode of actions, or it means that organophosphate or carbamates with a synthetic pyrethroids, it is the best mixture of the insecticide mixture. But if you go to mix the organophosphate and carbamates togetherly, they have a same mode of action and they do not use in insecticide mixture. These are the some of the examples of the insecticide mixtures available in markets to reduce the phytotoxicity to the plants, or it should be compatible to each other and having a different mode of actions to control the different insect pest population in agriculture. Chlorpyrifos plus cypermethrin, propanofos plus cypermethrin, chlorpyrifos plus alpha methrin, delta methrin plus triazofos, and ethion plus chlorpyrifos. Then these are the safe handling of pesticides. At the time of storage of pesticide, which are the different practices we can follow? At the time of storage, it should be storing cool and dry place like that. Then personal protective equipments, we can use the personal protective kits to avoid the injury, to avoid poisoning or injury to the labor. Then we should select the pesticides depends on the types of the pest, damage or losses caused or cost. Then safety before application, these are the some of the points which we use to before the application of the pesticides. In that, read and label the leaflet carefully, then calculate the required quantity of pesticides, wear protective clothing and equipments before handling. These are some of the safety measures we can followed in or before the applications. Then after the applications or during the application, these are some of the practice we can follow. Then if the insecticide poisoning is occurs or happens in the labors, the insecticide poisoning, having this type of insecticide poisoning, and we can use the first aid techniques against that pesticide poisoning. In that swallow poisons, these swallow poisons during vomiting, head should be face downwards and the stomach content should remove with 4 hours of poisoning. To give a smoothing effect, give either egg mixed with the water, gelatin, butter, cream, milk, and mashed potato. In case of nicotine poison, give a coffee or strong tea. Then skin contamination poisoning, contaminated cloths should be removed. Then thoroughly washed with soap and water. Then inhale poisoning techniques. Inhale poisoning condition. Person should be moved to ventilated place after the losing the right clothes. Avoid applying the frequent pressure on the chest. These are some of the first aid techniques we can use at the time of the pesticide poisoning. Then these are the antidote techniques. There are the number of the antidotes it is available in markets against the pesticidal cases or insecticidal cases. What is the antidotes? The substance that are used to cure the case of insecticidal poisoning are known as antidotes, and there are the two types of the antidotes mostly used, that is the universal antidotes and specific antidotes. The content of the universal antidotes is that the 2 parts of activated charcoals, 1 part of the magnesium oxide and 1 part of the tannic acids or half glass of warm water. Then specific antidotes contains, these are some of the specific antidotes as per the insecticides. For stomach poisons, we can use common salt, activated charcoal, magnesium oxide, tannic acid, gelatin. For chlorinated insecticides, we can use a calcium gluconate, or for chlorinated hydrocarbons or stomach poison also we can phenobarbital. Then for stomach poison and organophosphorus insecticide, we can use a sodium bicarbonate. These are some of the antidotes. Then atropine sulfate, it is mostly used against the organophosphate compounds. Then atropine sulfate is also used against the carbamide insecticides, and these are also some of the antidotes available in market. Then these are some of the things regarding the toxicity of the insecticides or toxicology. What is toxicology? Toxicology is the science which deals with the study of the poisons and their effect on the living organism. In that toxicology, the toxins is very important, or toxin is nothing but the poisons. What is the toxin or what is the poisons? Are the substance which produce a harmful effect when ingested or inhaled or absorbed by the human being. Scientifically, if you see, the poisons is a substance which when taken orally in the quantities even less than 4 gram or inhaled in concentration less than 200 parts per million in air, quickly fatal by means other than physical or mechanical means. Okay. Then the toxicity, it is classified into 2 major categories: acute toxicity and chronic toxicity. The acute toxicity, it means that the single dose is required to kill the insects, and chronic toxin, it means that the multiple doses or cumulative doses is required to kill the target organism. These are some of the degree of toxicity or toxicity parameters. It is mostly used in the research against the pesticides. In that LD50, LC50, LT50. LD50 means median lethal dose. It defined as the amount of the insecticides per unit weight which will be kill the 50% of the test organisms, and the unit is milligram per kg body weight or the gram per larva or adult. And then for the here the LC50, it is the percentage of the toxicants required to kill the 50% of the given organisms. It is expressed in ppm or percentage. Then lethal time, the total time required to kill the 50% of the insect population, and this it is expressed in hours and minutes, and it is used to test the NPV virus, that is the nuclear polyhedrosis virus. Then KD50 and KT50, knockdown dose and knockdown time required to kill the 50% of the insects, and it is mostly used to evaluate the synthetic pyrethroid insecticides against the sucking pest, against the pest. Then ED50 and EC50, it is used to evaluate the insect growth regulator activity. Then based on this toxicity or based on these LD50 values, the insecticide are classified into four categories: extremely toxic, highly toxic, moderately toxic, and slightly toxic. In extremely toxic, the LD50 value, it is the near about the 50 milligram per kg. In highly toxic, the LD50 value, it near about 51 to 500 milligram per kg. In moderately toxic, 501 to 5000 milligram per kg, and in slightly toxic, the LD50 value is more than 500 5000 milligram per kg of that body weight of the insects. And some of the examples for it: under extremely toxic, phosphadione; highly toxic, dimethoate; moderately toxic, and malathion and carbonyl are the slightly toxic. And these are the categories of the insecticide. This is the color triangle, and these are color triangle. It is present on the different pesticide bottle, having a four color triangle, that is the red, yellow, blue, and green. The red, it indicate that it is extremely toxic pesticides. Yellow triangle, it is indicate that it is highly toxic insecticides, and blue indicate that moderately toxic, and green, it is indicate that slightly toxic insecticides, and having the different LD50 values based on their toxicity. Okay, and these are the some of the benefits of the pesticides. It is very easy to use, and it is very effective in nature, and it is easily tested for new pests. Then these are some of the risk of the pesticides. It is very harmful to the non-target organisms due to the continuous use of the insecticides. The secondary pest outbreaks, pest resurgence, insecticide resistance, pesticide residue problem are created day by day, and is very badly impact on the soil beneficial organisms or soil pollutions. Environmental pollution also affect on the human health. These are some of the hazardous caused by the pesticides in the history of the insecticide. That is the in Kerala 1953, the near about 108 people died due to the parathion poisoning. Then this is the one of the famous examples of the uh, pesticide hazardous, that is the Bhopal gas tragedy. It is happened in 1984 in Bhopal. In the methyl isocyanate gas, it is released and it will kill. It was killed by near about 5,000 people and disabling the 50,000 peoples. And the endosulfan in the Kerala in 2001, causing problem due to the aerial spraying in cashew, and the pesticide was banned in the Kerala in the 2001. These are some of the hazardous uh, caused by the pesticides. These are the all about the chemical control or chemical methods or chemical tools of IPM. Okay, thank you.